please hit the subscribe button for more content.
Hello and welcome to this video from footballbetdata.com. This video going to bring you a little bit different to other ones because this one has been created by one of our members and followers. You might know this member, Mike. You might know him as Big Man. You might not know him at all. He's been a member with us with both Football Bet Data and Racing Bet Data for a number of years. Had a number of discussions with Mike down the years. He's one of the good guys. He's really clever in what he does, and that is going to be demonstrated within the video we're going to bring you now. It is over 2 hours long, but it's 2 hours long for a reason. There's some really good content in there. So skipping this video is not going to serve its purpose. We recommend you watch this video in full, whether that means you do it in bite-sized chunks, entirely up to yourself. But Mike brings this video webinar to you, courtesy of himself, and we hope you enjoy it.
Right, so this is the homepage. Let me just sign in because it's got an annoying thing about signing you out all the time. So there's these different things like today's data download, for example. You can download today's if you like. Have a look at this one. It will come up like this. And you'll see the teams that are on offer today and at what odds. Okay, and you can filter them accordingly. Now you just go over the cross, of course, data, filter, and then you can just add. Sorry, I beg your pardon, just, filter accordingly. This will make sense a little bit more later on. I believe, yeah, this is all the historic stuff. These are the dates and whatnot. Today's match. So, for example, this team here, this is its current form, Bromma. This is who they're playing, AEK. And this is AEK's form here, pretty shit. They haven't won a game recently. They used to be quite solid, as it happens. And I don't think, sure if Bromma's done that well either. And then you've got these two teams as well here. And the prediction part, you can have a look at that. I mean, it's not something that's that I would expect you to use, but Football Bet Data, they had this kind of score prediction and they added it in, and the members voted to keep it, so they've kept it. So they have a column here with the prediction home odds, prediction draw odds, and so on. Moth. Okay, so I mean, I don't particularly use this for my analysis at this moment in time, but you will come to use it later. Now, to show you what I'm doing, I actually go into the data dashboard, and let's just have a look. Just trying to find. Right, so if I want to, I can uncheck and check all the leagues they've got to offer. Okay, or I will potentially pick one league. So this is Brazil First Division. So let's just say that I pick them, and within that, here you got the bets. You can just choose for the Betfair Exchange odds range, which will only be since last year, so you're not going to get much of a sample size. Or you can go into the average, and it will bring up the Betfair anyway. If you do this, it will only bring up the Betfair. So you're better off just doing this anyway, because you'll get more games. And obviously, being a summer league, you can get it all the years back. Now, why is it pointless to go all the way back there? Because it's not really worth looking back to, I would say, more than 5 years, and even that's a stretch. Okay. But if I was to say 5 years, you can have a look. You'll probably find that the odds that the bookmakers used 5 years ago is no longer current now, okay? And they start to just slightly change it. Maybe it didn't work, maybe they weren't profiting so much, they move it slightly. So I'm going to put just for the last 5 years. And the angle that I want to look at is I want to look at the teams in Brazil that have got home odds of 1.6, 1.6, and a maximum of 1.9. And I want the away odds team to be minimum 3 and a maximum of, let's say, 6. Actually say 7. Okay. Now I can add other things in here, which might make a difference to my sample size. Okay, so I'm not going to right now, but I'm just going to submit this now. Okay, so I've left the drawer out on purpose for now. Let's see what the results are. So it's brought me 568 results here. Okay, going back, spanning the last 5 years. Now, if I go down here to the summary that I was talking about, this is a summary. I can look at I'm not going to expect to find any angle using the bookmakers, right? So I'm going to compare it to, and obviously well, I will, but not overall. I'll have to filter it a little bit. The Betfair Exchange summary, if you've got a bigger sample size, which you haven't because they only started collating the data last year, you can see that straight away there's 14 points to be gained on the away teams. So you're better off basically back. It's actually quite a lot, isn't there? Look, only 9 home wins in the last year compared to 6 away at those kind of odds. Okay, so that's a good return. And if we look at the overs are quite well, not fantastic, but on the overs 2.5, but they're in profit nevertheless. If we look at the unders, you'll see that laying the unders might give you a better return, okay, albeit better yield, okay. And then if you go down, you can see the double chance using bookmakers and Betfair, and you can see the difference here as well. So what's good here is this is actually quite interesting to look at. The home and draw odds on a favourite priced at 1.6 to 1.8 would be quite low. Okay, so obviously laying that would be quite profitable in theory because there'll be quite low odds, especially. But obviously, you know, we've got the draw in there, but nevertheless, the return will be quite decent because they're low odds. Now, what I'm going to do here is this is nothing what I've shown you so far. It's what I'm about to do now. So I'm going to send it to. I'm going to press this, export to Excel. This is a scary bit for some of you. It really isn't. Oh, right. There we go. Oh, it's Belgium, not Brazil. For God's sake, that's why I was getting confused. Sorry, it's Belgium, first division. Right, so it said Brazil, like an idiot. Right, and it's a winter league anyway. Beg your pardon. Sorry. Right, so here's our Belgium league. Now, okay, so we've got it all here. It looks like a bunch of random results. There's one thing that annoys me a little bit here. It's having these columns with predicted home odds and all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hide these just to make it easier for you guys to focus on what I'm showing you. And the reason I'm doing this from scratch, because I don't want to just magically show you something without showing you the process from the beginning. Okay. Correct score odds. I mean, no. Let's hide those. Predicted overs and unders. We can just get rid of and predicted. Let's just get rid of these predicted columns, full stop. Average home odds, which is what we've asked for, 1.6 to 1.9. And then we've got the draw odds. We've got the Betfair Exchange home odds next to it. This is for the past year. And then we've got nothing next to it. This is obviously previous to that. But I'm just using the bookmakers pricing. That's all I care about, because you can see here the average home odds is 1.76, but the Betfair is 1.81, and there'll always be a discrepancy because on the exchange there's no overround, and you know it'd be slightly different anyway, and the price won't always be a plus or minus 4 or 5. You might actually get a plus or minus 10, 14 even, like here you got 165, and on the exchange it's 179, and so on. Okay, so what I'm going to do here now is this is where things will change a little. But before I do that, I'm just going to put it in alphabetical order, and I'm going to highlight this is me doing the color bit, yeah. I'm going to highlight the results because I like to see when I start sorting things what I'm looking at. So I'm going to give the away a light pink, as I can. And there's one more there that got away. I'm going to give the draw an orange. And the home wins, these are the results, of course. The home wins, I'm going to give them a grey, a light grey. Okay, right, so that's that. Now, what I'm not going to do is start looking at some sort of pattern generically and whatever using this. What I'm going to do is this, watch. This is the bit that's a little bit different, which is what makes this video for you guys a little bit different. Okay, I'm going to create a coefficient of sorts. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to take the home odds, the average home odds, in a this is a simple formula, right? It's nothing special. Equals, that's how you start your formula, right? Q, which is the column here, and row 2, which is this one here. This 165 is Q2, right? And I want to divide it by the away odds, which is here. Look, W, average away odds, and that's in the, so column W, row 2. And if I press enter, it populates itself like so. So all of them now have got the home odds divided by the away odds. Now, why have I done that? It's given us this quite clever coefficient of how we can create a cluster. So what I'm trying to say is the home odds, for example, let me just show you this. Watch. Let me just pick number 25. Very slow. It's a lot of stuff. I've got a lot of things open. Here we go. Right. So just have a look at this for a second. Yeah. I've got 165. Actually, this is really sod's law. This is a really lame example, but 165, 6.5, 169, 6.65, 164. So there's nothing much in it here and here, but it's giving me the same coefficient. Now, if I let's just randomly pick 33 for some reason, I just fancy picking that one. Let's just have a look at that. Okay, now let's have a look at the, let me just filter these odds smallest to largest because there'll be a difference here. So they've all got the same coefficient. So when you divide that by that, it gives you 0.33, some decimal spaces, but rounds it up to 3 or gives you the, I've got 4.8 and 1.6, and then I've got 174, which there's a difference there, and 5.2, there's a difference, but it still falls under that coefficient. So I'm using that coefficient to basically have this data set as a cluster at this moment in time. So what am I going to do with this? Well, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to split the screen here. Let me just move over to bring that closer. Oh, you can already see it actually, but I want to bring it a little bit closer. Maybe I can have that option. Just freeze this and bring that there. Now, I'm clicked on number 0.33. Can anyone tell me what the angle is in this? Just saying. Does anyone notice any pattern here? What's the betting angle? Thank you, Graham. Lay the draw. So you find that coefficient, and that's, by the way, I don't want to finish the video, but that is it. That is it. However, there's a little bit more, but that is basically the gist of it. Using that coefficient, those bastards basically are tricking you into backing the home team. There's also another one. The other one is obviously, yeah, lay the draw full time, but I think backing the away team might be quite a good one as well. And then also there's a few results missing here, like the halftime results. There are a few blanks there, yeah. But it might be worth looking into the half times as well as the others around the back, the overs and so on. Now, what I'm going to do also, I'm going to add another column here. So we've added that to their data. That doesn't exist. And we're going to add here, let's insert a column for total goals. Yeah, let's just add E and F together. Simple formula. Actually, I'm gonna have to go back out of here. Let's just exit this. And then we'll add the equals E2 plus F2. So here we go. Equals E2 plus F2. Enter. You can see the two columns are highlighted there for those that are, and it brings you the total number of goals. So, and let me hide this column here. Right, so what's that done? We can see overs now, can't we? So now we can see the total goals, and then we can attribute maybe the cluster to the goals as well. So let me just go back to that 33, because we've got a lot of clusters here, and but I'm not saying you're going to use all of them. You might, out of all of this, you might only use a few. Okay, so what I can do is, before I go into 33, what I can do is this. I put them into smallest to largest. And what I'm going to also do, I'm going to hide these times columns. I don't need them for the purposes of this video. I don't care about the goal times. Okay, so we're done. Let's just get rid of these columns as well. So it makes it nice and compact, the screen. Home times, away times. Let's just get rid of that as well. Right, that's better. Okay. Right, so I've got the small coefficient here, and it gives me, by coloring that, I can straight away spot the low coefficient as it's rising. What am I seeing? Yeah, so 0.25, there's not many there. Small sample, 0.27, 0.28, and then from 0.29 it changes. 0.29, if you notice 0.29 here, we've got a lot of draws here. So you can say that 0.29, you would back the draw, or you'd lay the away team. Yeah, or because the odds are low, you'd not lay the away team, even though it would be a full house on that. You might want to lay the home team. Now, because there's, let's say, a few wins there, I wouldn't probably do that, even though it would still be profitable. Backing or laying backing the draw and laying the away team would provide you with the most profits. That's the 29 coefficient. Yeah. Now you can arguably say that up to maybe 31 potentially might be something to look at. But anyway, we carry on, and we can see there's quite a lot. Let's just highlight this. We're still on the 31 here. Right, there's a lot of aways here, a lot of away wins here. Where are we at? 32. 32 started here. So what I'm going to do now, but what I'm trying to say is this here will highlight a range, and you'll have to look and see whether or not that's a cluster. Now, when you've got a big sample like this, it's best to do it like that. So if I just go into, let me go into 32 for us, 32, 31. Let me go into 31 quickly. Right, so 31, again, you've got quite a large draw here, okay? Not too many on the home, and you've got 2 away. I will go now, and I can one by one. I'm not going to check them all with you, but you get the gist. But I'm going to go through it with you one by one. You can have a look. I'm going to go back to that 33 in a moment. Let's have a look at 34. Okay, so 34's got a few away wins here as well. Okay. What you can do is once you've got the coefficient here, what you can do is you can further break it down into the average away odds. So you go, just filter it like so, smallest to largest, and then you can see if there's a potential range to miss out. So for example, would you back at, for example, would you back an away team at 5? Well, if you did, you'd get 1 right at least, okay? Or would you lay a home? And then here, for example, at this one here, the 484 to 477 inclusive, because you can't just stop and choose. So here you can say to yourself, okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, I've got 5 away wins, okay, versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 home wins. So potentially I've backing the away again and laying the home would be the way to go there. Now if I go back to, so that's how you'd further do it. Now if you want to look at the home, you can filter it that way as well. So same coefficient, just filter it small to large, and you can look at the home. When a home team is priced at, let's have a look, 163 to 166, you've got quite a, again, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 homes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away. So your coefficient of 0.34, and the range of home, average home range of between 163 and 166, it's more likely to be an away win. Now, what's going on with the overs and unders with this? So we can see, let's just put this into perspective. So let's go small to large, because I can see quite a lot of numbers. I've got 10 games under 2.5, and I've got quite a few. I've got over 2.5 and higher. I've got 16. Let's have a look at the odds for these, because they'll be quite low, bearing in mind the home odds. So if I look at Betfair average, over 1 point, they're quite low. Okay, so it might be worth average under. So what you might want to do is what you can do is you can put this odds range of 1.6, for example, that range we just looked at. Where are we? Let's just go into this one again. Oh, not this one. God's sake, this one. Uh, 163 to 166. Yeah, so I could go and 163 to 166 and 4.7 to 4.9. So what you can do, you can go back to this page and you can go Belgium 1.63, 1.63 to 1.66, and away 4.7 to 4.9. That's it. All right. And now I'll just press submit. In theory, there we go. Those are the teams there that we've got on our list. And if we go down without messing around, you can see your away win is 8.8 points. Okay, that's what's registered if you're using Betfair. 2 away wins out of 2 games that were registered with Betfair in those odds, 2 out of 2. So what we're saying is in the last year, when things moved to Betfair, they started recording Betfair results. We've got results that preceded that from the average from the bookmakers, yeah, in the previous years. So we know that we've got more than 2 wins there. I think we had 5, something like that. Here, this year already, 2 qualified, and we had 2 out of 2 wins, which produced a 440% yield and 8.8 points net profit, which is great. Okay, and then you can go to the Betfair exchange on the overs, and you'll see that actually it's not too much. I did say the layover, so the unders. Okay, the unders here. There's not really much of an angle, nothing that I would scream out loud on here. Double chance or double chance again, you know, using the bookmakers odds over the previous years in that range. Draw away. I mean, you're not screaming, it's 1.8, but if you laid, you'd have a better marginally, you'd have better yield anyway, because none would have hit. Laying the double chance, drawing home, okay, because they're lower odds as well. And then draw no bet, so which is great because I do draw no bet being the same as the Asian handicap 0 line. So they win, you profit, they draw, you get, it's a push, you get your money back. And here is 9 points, and that's just using bookmakers, not Betfair. Okay, so that's really good, and you could always lay the home as well on the Asian handicap and profit like that. It's the same kind of. It'll be a similar return. Okay, but that's just using a really simple line. Let's just have a look. Where are we? Yeah. This is where we are. So that's what your coefficient is. Now, if I go to, so the way I do it is I like to look in 5s. So I'll go 0.25 to 29, then 30 to 34, 35 to 39, and so on. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm just going to have a look at what happens at the top here, because the higher the coefficient, it means the higher the home odds are. So watch that now go from 1.6 to higher. There's only one result, by the way, 1.84. So there wasn't much there, 1.84 and 3.3. So there's not much of a sample at all. They look to have abandoned that. Goodness me, that goes back to 2001. So that's a good example of one that's been abandoned. If I go back to 51, Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 51, 52, 3, 4, 5, and let's get those higher odds home teams and see what happens. Right, let's just put these in order. Right, so we've got our coefficient in order, and that is fantastic. Look at that away win there from the 52 coefficient. Wow, 52. Yeah, there's a few home wins. The odds aren't great on the. Obviously, they've gone down the odds, but there are a few. It's not that many. It's 2, 4, 6. Draw, draw, draw. And then if you look at the 51 again, let's just put it into a, let's just move this now into a cluster like so. And we can see that there's an outlier here, and that's the 170. So I'm going to, that's the higher coefficient. So that line I can delete. That's the only one that's 55. Is it 55? Believe so. Yeah. So that's an outlier, so I'll ignore that. But when I'm looking at, let's say, of 186 odds, Jesus, look at that. Fucking hell. Look at that. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 away wins there. And there's a slight crossover with the coefficient, but they're next to each other, 51 and 52. So that's kind of like, that's why it's worth sometimes you doing it in stages of 5. So yeah, if you've got a lot, do it one by one, but then start, once you've recognized something, make a note of it, then start adding a few more, and then sort it out like a cluster. So it gives you this, okay? Because still in the 1 point, look at that, still in this same cluster of 51, watch, and 52, I've got another two, look, I stopped there, 86. If I go to 188, it's going to bring me 2 more away wins or a lay on the home at 51. But then it brings me these home wins as well. And then look at that, the coefficient 188, I've got 54 here. I could ignore that because of the coefficient and go up. But then do I want to reduce the noise and just concentrate on the 186 instead, for example? Probably yes. Yeah. So 51, 52 coefficient, 186 cluster, you know, and go with that. There's also the other one you can look at is, ignoring the top line again, is going from 185 to 189. And then you've got the lay the draw. Okay, so you'll have only 2 draws out of a potential 23. Okay, so 23 trades, 2 draws coming out of there at, let's say, 4 point, where are we? 2.8, 2.2, 3, 5 points. Something like, what's that? 21, take away 5, 17, 16 points maybe profit from that angle alone. Okay. So that's how you'd sort it. And then obviously you look at, you can then, if you find a pattern in the half time. Now this is not a good example. So if you'll have this now to look back on in the video, and you can see what I looked at and then how I went back and narrowed it down between this cluster as well. All right, so let me go and show you another example. Let me pull one over from the other screen that I've got ready for you. Right, so I'm going to show you now one I made earlier. Now, what did I do here that's different? So what I've done here, I'm going to get rid of the prediction columns. Like I just did before. Get rid of these times here. Anyone got any questions to ask while I'm sorting this out? Please just type. Okay, so what's this? Just so you know, I have got I've got 40. If you look at the bottom here, I've got 14,141 games on this sheet. What did I do? Sorry, there's some. Sorry, just noticed the chat. I didn't check the Zoom chat. Sorry, I was talking about the our channel, the football webinar. Excuse me. Stephen, is the average home odds the closing odds? Yeah, good question. They're going to move slightly, okay, but you're going to see those move like I showed you on Odds Portal. The odds that I used here, I would say, are the odds that you're going to find when Football Bet Data posts them. So on that sheet that I showed you earlier, where you go on today's download, you would have seen that it's populated with some home odds. So I would use those. It's not the closing. You may find them shrinking, drifting, or going away. Sorry, steaming or drifting. For what it's worth, if you're going to win on some occasions and you're going to lose on others, and in the end, it balances out. Okay. Right. So what have I done here? I went into that data at the top here. I went into that data dashboard and I typed in 1.3 to 1.8 for the home odds, minimum 1.3, maximum 1.8, and away 3.9 to 15. But what I did, I added 0.25, the overs, from 1.5 to 1.9. The reason I did that is because when a team is that low in price as a favourite, there's an expectancy for over 2.5, and that price is going to be very, very low. Also, I did it to minimize the amount of games. there were 60,000 or more games, and it couldn't. So I added this filter to get this sample size, so I can show you today. Let's just change this color back to more sensible blue. That's the one, right? And this one here will go in black, so we can see it. Coefficient, and let's just center everything as well. Lovely. Right, so what we've got here is the coefficient, which is, as you can see, the formula there. It's R2 column, home odds, R2 row, divided by the away average odds of X2, and it brings us this. Okay, so let me just have a look at some notes that I made earlier on this. It was quite interesting, I thought. Okay, so this was a good one that I noticed, just so I'm saving some time and not boring you to death. If anyone, I've seen a couple of people have left already. Got the video, no hard feelings. If you've got a life, unlike me, you can go. Coefficient. So I wrote down, and I didn't fully, I spent a few hours today and yesterday, whatever, but I've messed around with this one today. If I type in, or if I select rather 41 to 40, where is it? 41, is this the right one? Should be. Yeah. 41, 46. That's it there. Okay. Where are we? And if we just have a look at the results, just to get an overview of what's going on with this coefficient cluster. Awful lot of away teams. And let's just first of all, how many we've got. It should be the whole. We've got 1,740 games, or teams, rather. Now, what you want to do is, sorry, when you get into this coefficient, sorry, let me start again quickly because I've just got a bit of mind block. Sorry, when you pick a coefficient, let me just leave this band that I have now. There's nothing wrong with that. But what you want to do is, remember what I said at the beginning, at the start, saying that every league is different. So what you want to do is select a league, okay, and go league by league, right? So let's just go for Argentina First Division, right? And then what you have a look is that between 41 to 42, you can see if there's anything there that is of interest, okay? You know, and that might be, as I was saying before, it might be in the overs, for example. There isn't a 0-0 there. It might be that it's in the half-time result as well, okay? So, for example, the half-time results here so far, the only team that won once, sorry, the home team only ever won once, for example, okay? You know, so you might want to look at the laying the home team, for example, in that coefficient or cluster. If I was to just put that in smallest to largest, like so, and I can see 41, 44, 42, 44. No, it's too, like I say, it's too small a sample for me at this moment in time. Let me just get rid of the coefficient filter here for the Argentinian league for a second. That's in now order. Now what I can do here is look at the overview over the last more than 5 years. It's going back to, no, last 5 years. I've got 143 games. Yeah. And out of the 143 games, I have got 31 draws. Okay, so you might want to look at that angle. You might want to break that down into the coefficient. So if I look at the coefficient on that side of things, it's quite a wide range. So again, I might go back into the order here, and I can see that from the coefficient of 13, for example, up to 20, I can make a note of 41 games there, and in the 41 games I've got 5-7 draws. Yeah, and then I can look at the coefficient of 20 and so on. Okay, and you might want to be looking at that approach. There is one that's actually quite interesting here. You might want to look at laying the home draw here at this coefficient of 27 to 28. Beg your pardon, 29. That would be interesting. Or back in the draw, and so on. And that's how you do it. Now we can, that's looking at one league. Okay, and again, you can filter and you can use what's the angle on the let's just go with the teens. Let's select, like I was saying before, 13, 14. Let's just go for the teens up to 19. So that's a nice, you know, you can when you, and the good thing is when you break it up into the coefficients like this and just using a group of 4 or 5 at a time, you get a better overview of what's going on here. And then you can compare the goals there, quite a lot of goals there, and then the halftime results. And if I look at the halftime results, if I just filter that into alphabetical order, I can maybe look at the average odds So the lower the coefficient, the lower the home odds and the higher the away odds. Okay, so bear that in mind. Okay, and if we look at the draw outcomes, you can see here that is it worth laying the draw? You had 2 that ended up as a draw full time. Yeah, maybe there's an angle there. Is it worth when it's a draw back in the away team? Well, at those odds, definitely, yeah, as well. And then if you look at this here, let me just put it in like this to polarize it somewhat, and you can get an idea. If you look at it like this, when the home team's leaving, don't fucking bother laying unless if they've equalized if the dogs equalize the home team in the second half, it's always worth laying that team or laying the draw then in the second half. You can see here that the away team, I don't think that really happened too many times, but maybe in another instance you'll get that. Or you might want to look at overs. So 2-0 went 3-0, 2-1 stayed 2-1, 1-0 stayed 1-0, and so on. The only time they equalized was this one here, Boca Juniors, and so on. Okay, so it's just something to look at rather than trying to just say, oh, it's a really low price, I'm going to lay them. Sometimes it's not worth doing it. Okay. If I look at, let me just get the cluster on the odds now. So if I look at the, there's no real odds cluster going on within that coefficient, but if I was to break it down to not 13, but if I take 13 out and 14 out and 19 out and 15 out, let me just leave these two, see what happens here. Got an odds cluster. It's quite tight as it happens. It's quite tight. So it's 7.77 to 816. Yeah. And so that's a sample of only the 8, and you would have had 3 wins in that coefficient of 18 and 17. So provided you got 18 and 17 coefficient and a cluster of 7.7 and 8.16 odds, you'll be looking at around about 6, just argument's sake, 7, 14, and where are we? 21. Let's just say 21 points gross minus obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, around about 16, say 16 points gross. Okay, in that kind of cluster. And once you've done with that, you can just unclick here, clear the filter, and let's just move on from there. Let's just have a look at I'll tell you what to look at. The Premier League's really shit, if I'm honest. Germany won. Germany's good because there's loads of goals. There's another, oh, surprise, surprise. The coefficient here is quite low. It's quite low, so favourites out to there. So we can safely say, right, so if we ignore the 22 coefficient and the 25, because we can easily say that's an outlier, but if we can just ignore those for the time being, we can either, the home odds are very, very, very low. We've got a couple of draws in there as well. So what's the half-time market saying? Okay, don't know what I beg your pardon, it's not Germany, it's Greece, for fuck's sake. What's wrong with me today? It's D1 I need, not bloody G1. Greece is actually quite interesting because it's pretty crap, pretty obvious. You'll find some angles there. Let me just go up to D1. Deutschland. That's better. Right, so let me just clear the filter from here because we'll have a lot more samples. Goodness me. Right. Let me put it in order. So you've got the favourites, very low favourites, as we said, because it's the lowest coefficient, okay, and the highest away odds. Okay, so I wouldn't be backing, obviously, any home team. Would I be backing an away team? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not, because the cluster, it's not worth it for me right now. So I'm going to look further down, and I've got this massive gap here, which I want to explore, and it's including 18 here, right? So from 18 up to 24. So I'm going to do that. Watch. 18 to 24. And this will be the last one that I'm going to do on this particular odds range. Let me know if you want me to show you more, or if you get the gist, or if you've got any questions. So I don't want to bore you or make you feel like you're guilty being here. Right. So here we've got a scenario where, again, it's you can lay the away team, okay, quite high-ish odds, let's just say. You'll come out with a profit, obviously, okay, but, well, actually, no, you wouldn't, because you got the draw as well. But no, of course not. No, of course it would. No, it'd be decent. But if you no, it wouldn't be bad. Even with the high odds, you mustn't be scared. But look, if I take away the 24, that's a little bit too much like backfitting in a way, because I've got a lot of winners in the 24 as well. But there's no shame. I'm going to cut a lot of winners, but also I'm streamlining it because it's a coefficient. It's not like I'm taking everything that's priced at 7.9. There could be some there that are 8 or 8.4. So here you can see if I remove the 24, I've only got one winner away. Okay, so that'll be almost 7 points gross deducted from how many? From 33. Yeah. So that, again, and if you look at the half-time results as well, is there an angle there, and how many goals? So only 2 there away wins. I can't tell. I'm missing the information here, which is a bit annoying. But I've got quite a lot of draws, and out of those draws, is it worth laying the draw? Well, I've got quite a few draws that have come out of it. Is it worth laying a team that's leading at halftime? That's a home team? No, it's not. Unless someone's equalised, for example, and the home team then takes the lead, which I'm not sure how the sequence was with the bottom one, RB Leipzig and Hertha Berlin, whether they came back to 3-2 or whether Hertha Berlin, no, they didn't. They're winning 3-0 at half time, and Berlin came back. Yeah, the max range, I said that earlier on, Graham. So the max range would be the last 4 to 5 seasons that I would be looking at, and then it constantly evolving from there, and keeping it like that. That's the way I would be doing it, if I'm honest. Well, that's the way you should do it. Now, so I'm going to move on to another sheet that I've got ready, and I will done Belgium, which Belgium's quite interesting. Right, so the same sheet again, this big one. But what I did this time was, in this sheet, I put in the data dashboard. Again, I've got how many? I've got only 112 samples in this one, because I was quite specific. I put home team 2.7, can't be 2.7, 2.7, and away team the same. It would have been 2. Let me just have a look. 2. Must have been 2.4 to 2.7, and the away team was again 2.4 to 2.7. Okay. And the over 2.5, the minimum 2.1. And let me just hide these goal times quickly. I've put in the goals already. Now, what you'll find here is, look at the coefficient. It's over 1. Quite interesting. Yeah. Let's have a look at that one. Looking at this one here. Here it is too. Yeah. Okay, right. So watch this. Let's just put this in the smallest to largest. Okay. And you're going to notice, let's go from 91, 94, and let's go to 99 and see what happens. Don't like that color. Change it to right. And these ones here, the drawers are orange. I don't like it that color either. Right, so I've put in that coefficient just to see, just to check before I move on. And I'm looking at how many from, let's say, 98 coefficient haven't got. Am I better off back in the draw? Because the draw is nearest to 3, yeah, because they're expecting. So the reason I picked that coefficient is when a team is more or less 1 or more, there's normally more of a chance that it's going to be a draw. Yeah, that's just in some leagues. This is fucking, what's this? Oh, yeah, this is a mixture of leagues here. Sorry. So there will be some leagues that will be, just have a look. Will be more responsive, for example, the English leagues or something like that. Again, I haven't got a great sample here. But if I moved away from this, and I'm just going to go straight to the 100s to 104, it's better. Okay, and let me just go into this here. Just change the color of the draw because it's doing my head in. Okay. I've got an angle here straight away of laying the home team overall. I've got an angle. I've got 20 out of, I believe I've got an angle 20 out of 49. Okay. Obviously the points there should be a little bit there, but if I was to narrow this down into you got the one, where are we? Let me just get this into, that's better. Right, so if you're looking at the coefficient of, actually the coefficient of 1.0, basically. Let me just go slowly with this one because it's actually got quite a lot of info. So 1.0, it's showing me 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 wins only out of 31. Okay. And then if I'm looking at the goal markets, potentially a little bit May, actually, a little bit middle, halftime results. Goodness me. Away wouldn't, it's not bad. So basically, okay, that's actually pretty strong. So the home team leads at half time. You can look to perhaps potentially, if you get it at the right time, look to lay the home team. But if it's a draw at half time, you'll be you do well to potentially lay the draw or back the away team, and the away team leading seldom loses. Okay, half time. So again, you can look at trading angles and what to do or how to react accordingly if a goal comes in. That's just using this one coefficient. If I go further down to the 106, there isn't much there, although it's current 22. Draw and draw on that coefficient. So what does that mean? It means home team. Betfair, look at that pattern there. Betfair had them at 288, both of them. Average odds were very similar, 268, 267. Away odds on draw odds on Betfair were the same, and the Betfair Exchange away odds were slightly different. But our coefficient was giving us the go ahead, and we only need, and it's telling us that the draw in these particular matches. Mind you, that league there, it's not the same bloody league. It's a different league. This is a smaller sample size. So again, I can go back to I'll show you the Brazil. I don't think, no, I haven't. There's Brazil. I'll show you this one as well. Brazil here, predicted. Let's just hide that. Let's just show you again, starting from here. Insert a column. And I've got equals Q2. And what this one is, it's Brazil First Division, 1.6 the home team minimum. I think it was 1.6 to 1.8 or something like that. So equals, where are we? Average home time. Bear with me. Sorry about that. Average home from Q2 divided by average away odds W2. Okay, so let it populate. Let's just highlight that. Bring it this way. Hide. Okay, and put it in order. Actually, before I do that, let's just get the results highlighted quickly. Once again, in Brazil, at that kind of odds cluster for the home team, you will see that if the away team is leading at half time, the underdog, you do well to leave it alone. Okay. Now, if I go into smallest to largest, I can see this one here of 26. Let me go 26 to 33. Just check that quickly. Okay, you do well to lay the home team there, for example, with that coefficient. Okay, there's a lot of draw, or you do well to back the draw even. Okay, either one. I mean, backing the draw is best because you're looking at almost 3 points. Oh, that's the half-time result, beg your pardon, but still, you'd be looking at on the half-time, you'd be looking at backing the draw, maybe. Mind you, the draw won't be that high, if I'm honest, on the half-time. It'll only be, it's getting late, you can tell. It'll only be about 2.3, maybe. Actually, because it's a favourite and an underdog, it might be a bit higher, but 2.4 maybe to 2.7, 2.6, something like that. The home team would be around about evens-ish, 2.2. Okay, so again, something like that might be worth looking at. You'd be looking at potentially 8. There's 8 selections there, so 8 and 2, 9, maybe 9 points. Hardly worth it. 9 points would be a marginal profit. Or however, on this side of things, on the full-time result, home will dominate. Again, a lot of this will fall down to whether or not you want to go into the lay the draw, or if you want to look at the draw no bet. The draw no bet would actually be quite low odds. We go to the back here. That's if they're recording it. Let's have a look. Draw no bet. It hasn't got the results, but you got it here. Draw no bet home. Okay, so yeah, you can see how low it will be there. Not really worth it for backing reasons. I clear that filter again, and arguably from that cluster there, just looking at that cluster from 24 to 30, I've got 4 away wins full time at those kind of odds. Yeah, so I've got potentially 20 plus points. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so you'll probably be around about 10 points on that cluster based on those dates, which are present really. Okay, so that's the Brazil 1.6 angle at home. And then you can, you've got the Swedish first division. I think I've got this down as bear with me. I've got all of the bloody. I had filtered it 71. I had filtered it earlier, but I think I'm going to stop it there. Has anyone got any questions? Because I've got there's loads. You can literally going back to that other big sheet, which is this one here. All you have to do on this one here, where you just have to get another one. All you need to do is, if I go into the data dashboard, it's probably logged me out. So sign out and sign back in, because I hate when it does that. It doesn't last long. So if I go into that there, where are we? Just want to compare something before I go, because I'm going to do it anyway. So if I check all of them, and if I go away odds 1.3 to, excuse me, 1.8. Okay. Oh, that's the draw odds, beg your pardon. See, it's getting late. And I'm wearing some moody glasses which belong to my missus. Max 1.8. Sorry. Can you hear me now? Oh, fuck's sake. I must have pressed the mute button. All right. Okay. At least it's still recording. That's the main thing, because I thought it crashed for a minute. Okay. Thank God for that. So what thank you. So what I was saying before was I was only just showing you the opposite of the last big sheet, which was 1.3 to 1.8. You can do that in the away odds, and you can test how the away favorites work as well. Do the same thing there. You can choose whichever odds angles you want. You can make them as small and as condensed as you like. For example, you can put away odds of 4. What is it called? You just think you can go 5 to 8, for example, or you can go home underdogs instead of away dogs. Home underdogs of minimum 4.5 to 8 instead, and you can then filter the home leagues. And what I was just trying to tell you is you don't need to do the home odds. You can use an angle here, which is the goals over market. So you can go 1.17, 1.9, nice and tight. And then you've got the minimum unders, that. And then if I filter the last 5 seasons on the winter leagues and the summer leagues, just want to see what that brings me. So it brings me 401 results, okay? But you'll notice that most of those are current, yeah, which is nice, yeah? So if I just export that quickly, and I'm not going to take too much of your time, I told you I'll go over. I always do. Luke. Just have a look over here quickly at the odds. Yeah, here we go. So they're the odds here. They're 1.7 minimum, 1.7 upwards. Okay. Now, if and the unders here, not I'm going with the average, by the way. I'll go with the average unders. And if I go insert and go equals AL2 divided by, wouldn't expect too much of a difference, AN2. Let's just see what this brings. There you go. Right. So here's my coefficient in, let's get rid of the pink. Let's go yellow. And let's go smallest to largest. Now, what I want to do is split the screen here so I can bloody see what's going on with the goals. So I want to put in here the goals, so it makes it easier for us to see. Insert, right, quick, easy formula equals E2 plus F2. Brilliant. Right, so now what I want to do is get rid of that shit. I wish I could just select that. I wish I could just select that, honestly. Get rid of all the predicted bloody... Right. Now, what you can do on top of that is you can create a coefficient for, based on that, for the odds as well, by the way, yeah? And then you can see here, insert, edit, equals R2 divided by X, yeah, X2. There you go. So that's our coefficient in this column as well. All right. Now these ones here, I'm going to fuck off these ones because I only want to know about the going to hide these. Right. That makes it easier. Right. And these are the over. and these are the under. All right, let's get rid of the Betfair one. So they're nice and close. And then you can fish. Right. Okay, right. So let's, rather than messing about, let's just go with a coefficient of 80. Okay, there you go. There's 80. How many is that? I've got 90 selections. Okay, so let's have a look out of these 90 selections, just see if it's bullshit that I'm doing here. Out of these 90, out of these 90, I'll tell you what, that's not bad. Only 4 games out of the 90 had no goal. That's not bad at all, is it? That's 39 games that were under 2.5. And the vast majority, actually even over, okay, so 39 and 50 were over 2.5. And then basically you might want to look at your halftime results and all that, or your leagues. Yeah, so you might find that a league. Now if we look at the let's just have a look, for argument's sake, the coefficient on the, if it makes a difference. It's just a theory. So our coefficient on the over stays the same. Right, now if we look at the coefficient, in theory the home favorite would be the lower ones. Yeah, so hello, 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 hello. You can hear me now, I think. Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. Okay, it's the cable. It was the way I've got it on the table. I fucked the cable up because it was at an angle. So now I'm actually holding the microphone near my mouth and got my fingers around the back of it, fucking bending it upwards. Shame. Okay, so all I did was change the coefficient, as you can see there, to higher coefficient on the average, on the beg your pardon, on the goals, and I also filtered on the on there, but I didn't see much of a difference. Result wise, let me just do it again. You just clear that. One thing I didn't do was do the it's important that line up. Why wasn't it lining up? All right, let me just center everything. Sorry, that's better. Okay, one thing I didn't do was the result. did I get rid of result column? Prediction, get rid of, and result column. We'll just color them because it makes it a lot easier for me to see things. And thanks for bearing with me. You're all as sad as me. Congratulations, Saturday night. Got no mates like me. You're my mates. I tell my missus, I'm talking to my mates. Fuck off, leave me alone. She goes, you got no mates. I said, fuck off. Okay, now. Talk to people I've never met on Telegram more than I do her. For fuck's sake. Right. Okay, so now that we've done that, we'll clear that. Let's just get all the results on there. Right. Let's just color this column quickly in green. Right, okay. Now, coefficient wise, we've got all of them there. Let's do an experiment. So let's go smallest to largest on the coefficient. Now, because we didn't select an odds range in the teams, that's why we've got such a vast mix of very volatile high to low coefficients. Okay. Fucking hell. Well, that's interesting. All right, so favorites here. How many? They go under there. Let's have a look further down. So let me just have a look at this one here. 50 in the 50s. That's what I mean about spending a lot of time on data. This is quite interesting, though. I actually quite like doing this until I don't. Don't crash on me. Sunday morning in Oz. Good morning. Right, lay the draw candidate here for this one. And that's actually quite a nice one. Let's just see. So on the over 2.5 coefficient of 80, 81, and 82, if I'm not mistaken, let's just between a coefficient of 0.5 and 0.50, or let's just say 50 to 55, for God's sake. And let's just, so you can see the coefficient on the overs unders. Okay, 80 to 82. We have a nice lay the draw angle there on the full-time result. Yeah, the odds ain't bad, if I'm honest, either. Okay. Very nice. Now, what's the situation with the goals? Let's have a look at the goals. Do we have goals with it as well? Yes, we have. Goodness me, not bad at all. So we've got 13 overs 2.5. That's not bad. So that's actually a nice little micro system there. No particular bias. I actually quite like that. I like it because there's no bias on a league and it's quite a general one. So you've only got six results, one result with no goals, six including that one result under 2.5. The other 13 were over 2.5, and arguably you'd actually be you do well to do over 2.5 and over 3.5, 4.5 actually, because the odds would be pretty decent. It's the average home odds on almost evens. Also, sorry, just saying, but the home 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 19, give or take, say 19. So home plus over 2.5, maybe. Yeah. You've got 19 games here, near enough evens. On Betfair, there'll be about evens, near enough. Okay, and out of the 19, 2, 4, 6. So you had 13 home wins, 13 points, argument's sake. Not too bad. And then you've got the overs as well. And what's the half-time situation? So the situation is this: away team takes the lead, don't lay them. Yeah, that's actually quite a good angle. There we go. Let's just color that one in. Okay, if it's a draw at half time, then lay the draw, or back the home. Lay the draw will be simpler, I would have thought. And if it's a home leading, don't bother laying the home team. Yeah, if anything, they're going to score more goals. Basically, they're going to score at least one more goal. Okay. So quite interesting there, quite an interesting one. And that's just using those. If I was to, it's good that you're getting the recording, because otherwise you won't remember this. If I was to clear this filter again, and just go with the under less than 0.24, okay, so arguably they'll be quite high odds, but it'll be profitable to lay the away team still. Yeah, as you can see. All right. No, maybe not actually. Goals. That's what I want to look at, the bloody goals. So if I now just organize the coefficient in the goals, just to see something. Right, and doing like that's quite a ball bust. Let me just go one by one quickly. 0.78. There's only 2 games. Don't know why I've done that. Over 2.5. They're the top 2. Okay, so 0.78 coefficient. It's quite a small sample. I'm not going to really talk about it too much, but if I was to say 0.79 and 0.78, you've got home team and over 2.5. The average home odds are like that. And you've got home on double on half time, full time. 7-9. Not really a bit of an indifferent one. 7-9. 8-0 we've had a look at already. Maybe, or no, we haven't actually. That was on the 5-0. Hurry up. Okay. Another one, quite high odds. I don't like laying at those odds anyway, but quite high odds. Goal wise, only 2 games didn't go over 2.5. Half-time result. So 0-0 at half-time, 1 goal, home team, draw home, lay the draw half-time. Yeah, half-time draw, lay the draw basically, or back the home team. Okay. away's lead, and if the away's leading at half time, then lay the away team, because apparently they're not going to win. And that's be using a coefficient of under 2.4, so basically 0.12 up to 2.3 with a coefficient of 0.8. Boys, thank you very much. I'm going to call it a night because I could spend all night looking at examples. So I just showed you a way of using an over-unders coefficient along with that to see if you can maximize your goal potential along with results. Okay. There are various ways of doing it. You can expand the odds range, okay, and still have the same coefficient. Not really, but it depends. So, for example, don't make it 1.7, 1.9, make it 1.7 to 2, maybe, okay? But then you'll get more teams, more results, and then you can filter leagues. Or you can just do, excuse me, you can take the, where's that sheet? You can take this bloody sheet where I've got, how many bloody teams have I got in here? I've got, no, not this one. No, not this one. I've got a filter on this. Where is it? Just turn it off. It was the one I was looking at with 14,000 results, but it doesn't matter. Point what I'm trying to make is even with, can you hear me? Yeah, you can hear me, yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah? Yeah, good, thanks. Thank you. All right, so with this one here, you can do the same thing with this one. Coefficient, which one was this here? This was 1.3 and 1.8, and away 3.9 to 15, with the overs 1.5 to 1.9. Filters on Germany, that's right. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Right, even better. And then you can go to the over-unders. Again, like we just did there. I'm like a fucking junkie, like a crackhead with this bloody day. I hate it. Can go on all bloody night. I'm going to do it. Fuck it. Right, let's do it. I'm going to do it very quickly. Equals AN, and where's the AL? Fuck's sake. Where is it? AL, no, average over, average under, AN and AP equals AN. Oh, fuck. I have to delete it first. Right. Equals AN2 divided by AP2. Why didn't it bloody populate? Bastard. Right, now. Right, now it's just going to Germany, because I like German league. It's got a shitload of goals. D1. Okay. Coefficient there on the Betfair odds, and bollocks. Where is it? No, just do it. Here, I didn't color it in. That's what I didn't do. Right. If I select, let's just select a cluster here of 6-4. Right, let's just see what this gives. Goals. Don't forget, it's the home is the favourite anyway, so you're not expecting too many. Not great. Coefficient on here isn't bloody good. Let's just go sort of smallest to highest. Nah, not great. Again, not great. Let's just change this coefficient here. Just go a little bit higher. $70 to $75. Looking at goals now, yeah. So we've got 12 which are under 2.5, and then you've got over 3. Now, what about the coefficient on the actual home away? Oh, it's actually quite strong there. So if I was to do up to 21, just saying, just to see, just to narrow it down a little bit. Might be a bit shit, but let's just have a look. So and you'll get the overs there. Half-time result, home, 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 away, home, any away on that one there, the outlier. Schalke, which was in, yeah, the outlier. Now check the outlier out. Actually, it's important to note this, yeah, those of you that are still here, and obviously you'll see it. 2009. Okay, so let me just get the dates, oldest to newest. Last, the ones that are more current, you'd be looking at over 2.5, home, home. Okay, and over 2.5, coefficient 19 to 21. Okay, so that's not a, you can see that's not really random. It's quite close together. And there's no 0-0. Okay, so that's pretty much how you do it. Now, is there anything you want to ask me now? And the other thing I'd like to say is I'm going to keep this channel open. Okay, and if you want to discuss this between yourselves or post anything that you found, and share it with someone else or whatever and help each other, why not? This isn't like some bullshit system and protecting your edge and all that bollocks. There's so much money in the market, you're not going to lose your edge. If I thought that I would be losing anything by disclosing this information to you, then I wouldn't be showing you. The market, there's a load of money in there, and they'll carry on being a load of money in there. And most people that will do this, they might do it. Some of them might stop. They might get bored. They can't be bothered to put the effort in. Those that do, then they'll probably be profitable for quite a while, I think. Anyway, if you're quite strict with your angles and disciplined with your staking, I think you can do pretty well like this. And one other thing I'd like to say is there hasn't been one bit of form in sight. Hasn't been one bit of form in sight to talk about. So no home draw away, no XG, no corners, bullshit, nothing like that. You don't have to worry. You don't even have to watch the game. You can just set and forget it if you want. If you happen to be trading it, then obviously you'll be looking at angles on the half time, and maybe, or you can set parameters on BetAngel. If it's a draw, you know, you can do that. Can I answer the question above, please? Oh, right. Which fall into the bucket? You'd have to subscribe to Football Bet Data. You'd have to, because that's what I'm using to get the odds, and obviously there has to be a continuity of those odds, and wherever they collect those odds of and odds from, and how they record them, that's how they. If you go into their website and you look at today's data, today's download for their matches that they've got on, they're going to have all of those odds, because those odds that they put in there tomorrow, the odds that you'll see in that file, they'll be the same odds that you're looking at here for the average odds that you know, see, like these ones here, obviously, and all of these odds, they're the ones that you'll get on the daily data download, and that's how you will qualify. Or you have to, like I say, you have to manually do it, and that'll be a bore fest. All right, I've done it before. I've done it before where you just watch the game, you quickly have a look. The game started, you have a look at the odds, you see if it meets the cluster. If it, oh, 1 minute, I remember that 1.6 France. Yeah, okay. Let me just check the coefficient quickly. I look on Bet365 the odds, or I look on Odds Portal the odds. Maybe look at the average, do the coefficient. Right, so the coefficient I know is 0.3, home 1.6 or whatever. Or just the fact that the coefficient alone gives a lay the home, for example, or it's a half time lay the draw, etc., etc. Okay. Anyone else got anything else to ask? Yeah, thank you, Gareth. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm hoping that you've learned something new, and that it's something that you can use. Like I say, you don't need to be an Excel king or anything like that. It's just a simple formula to type in, and it will bring it all up. And if you start collecting the data sheets, and each time you start adding and inserting the column in the same place, you can just then copy and paste it onto your database. So you'll create your own database as you're going along, and you can grow it like that and compare your Betfair prices as well. Appreciate if you let me know what you think of this, and if you found it useful, I don't know, good or bad, anything like that. Much appreciated. If no one's got anything else to say, then obviously you can ask questions on this channel. As I said before, I will send a copy of the Zoom video to everyone. I'll post it on here first, and then I'll send it to everyone that's on here. Excuse me. Thank you, Gary. Thank you to, let me just say quick. Thank you, Frank, Gareth, Gary, Gster, H, JR, Moz, Peter, Sammy, Simon, Steve, Stephen, Suv, Kerr, and Tatanka for staying till the end. It's much appreciated. It's a bit shit when you talk to yourself. All right. So last 10 seconds. Anyone want to say something? I'm gone. Okay. Right. No worries. Thank you, Sammy. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video
Right,
and
see you
subscribe to our channel for more useful content.